if you're on the listing side of the business, that's the answer, isn't it?
100%.
100%. If you work with buyers, buyers control you. If you work with listings, you control the market.
Right. You can go on vacation, come back, and have sold 4 houses.
Yeah. Like I said,
not as easy with buyers.
I quit working with buyers years ago. I'll do 1 or 2 every few months just so I can keep
just a little threshold of pain there. Huh?
Yeah, just so I can remember what it felt like, so I can coach my agents. But but I would never ever work with buyers again at that level. I mean, I remember my first 2 years, man, I put like 100,000 miles on my car.
Yeah. Here's the neat thing about that, Phil, is that when you think about the dynamics of a team and you think about individuals that absolutely get joy from working with buyers, and you're able to put someone in their joy zone by taking yourself out of your pain zone, that's where it all comes together.
Yeah, and you got a good point there, Sarah, because there are people that just love that. And in a team type of an environment, they can have that around the clock without because the parts they don't like are a lot of the things that the team can take away from them, and they can just go show, and it's just Christmas every day.
There's power in delegation.
It's that time. Welcome to Roadmap. How to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. Each week, we interview a great agent who's consistently taking several listings each month, and we have an exciting guest today. We encourage you to take notes and apply the knowledge as quickly as you can, and then use the copycat principle. Let me introduce my co-host from Greater Cincinnati, Sarah Close. Hi, Sarah. How's the real estate business?
Real estate business is great. Ren, thanks for having me. Glad to be here today.
Good. And Sarah's amazing. Sarah runs, owns, and co-owns both several Keller Williams offices in Southern Ohio. I say that because it includes several markets, Dayton, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, on and on and on. And you run a team. What's the goal for sales this year?
We do have a great team. Our goal for sales is 250 this year.
250. Nice even number. Wasn't 252, it's 250.
250. Yeah.
Good. I love it. Good. Well, let me introduce our guest today from beautiful, and it is Raleigh, North Carolina, Phil DeMuth. Welcome, Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Glad you're here. Good deal. Put him in the middle. There we go. All right.
I'm in the hot seat now. I'm in the hot seat.
Well, you're in the hot seat. That's it. Good. Let's dive in and learn as much as we can. What's your goal for sales this year?
This year, our goal is 150 as a team. So I have a team of about 5 agents total. I still do quite a bit of the listings, not as many listings as I once did because we're growing. So I'm recruiting a lot, hiring a lot of new people. But yeah, about 150 is the goal this year. And we got a pretty good chance of getting, I think we're already at like 85.
Wow.
So yeah.
Good. Well, this is going to be fun.
Absolutely. Phil, so you guys are on track already. You're at 85 units. Where do you see the majority of your production coming from? What do you guys do? What are your major lead gen components for your organization?
So my business has always been pretty heavily for sale by owner, expired listings, circle prospecting, as well as, we do a lot of buyer leads to new construction. We're also part of Zillow Flex, so we get a lot of business from that company. Mm-hmm. But yeah, mostly a lot of listings and buyer leads. We're pretty even 50-50, I'd say.
All right. Terrific. So you guys are obviously proactively lead genning to get this business done. What does the anatomy of your lead gen look like? Like, how often are you guys calling? What are you trying to accomplish when you do call? Tell us a little bit about what that looks like.
Yeah, it's kind of changed over the years for sure, but it's still the same structure. We lead gen every day for 3 hours a day. 2 hours of outbound calls, an hour of follow-up calls, and then what they do after that is up to them. But that's the requirements from me. So typically, you do a FSBO for an hour, expireds, and then circle prospect. It's they have to make 100 dials a day.
Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a busy morning. So
Yeah.
are all of the salespeople in your organization, is that their requisite with if they're going to be working with you?
Yes. Yeah. We hold them accountable. We track all their numbers using a platform called Sisu.
Mhm.
And I'm very particular on that because that's the only way I can coach and mentor. And my main thing is to help them with the conversion, coaching, and things like that. So that's something we do every day. We track it every week. We have a integrator slash operations manager who kind of looks at all those systems to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do.
That's exciting. When you guys are tracking your conversion rates, what is it that you're looking for? So as you're developing an agent and you're coaching them through to build up their skill set, when what do you guys look for as far as like a call to appointment to listing taken to close? What do you guys
Yeah.
what's your target there?
So when we get new agents in, especially if they're entry level or brand new agents, we're looking more at dials. Are they comfortable, making those calls, or do they have, a lot of hesitation? Are they nervous to make those calls? Because if that's the case, we have to figure out what they're nervous about. So we do a lot of script practicing, a lot of presentations, to get them really comfortable on the phone and let them understand that it's a contact sport, it's a numbers game. So, we're very particular on what they're saying. We have certain scripts they have to say, how they have to say it, and what it leads to. Because I try to keep everybody systematic and structured in the same way. So whether Austin from my team calls you, Cam calls you from my team, or Nancy, you're hearing the same thing with the same kind of format.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That sounds good. So is part of your day also a script practice, or is that something you guys do weekly, or how do you tool up on that front?
So typically we script practice every day from 8:30 to 9, and then
Okay.
they get on the phones from 9 to 12.
Okay. Gotcha. That's great. And is that a 5 day a week
It,
requirement? Or
it's not required if you're hitting your numbers. If you're not
okay.
hitting your numbers, it's required.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Are you seeing changes in the marketplace with kind of the I don't know, I'd say the dynamics are starting to rumble around. Obviously for sale by owners, that being one of your targets. Are you starting to see changes there at all?
Yeah, it's actually really good right now. I mean, the typical home, I don't know, if you guys, I watch numbers all day long, it's my business. There was an article in Inman today that was talking the typical homes are lingering on the market a little longer. So what that means is, especially for these for sale by owners, they're starting to realize they need us again.
Hmm.
For a long time, they didn't think they needed us. So it's
Right.
a whole lot harder conversion.
Sure.
Now it's starting to get a little bit easier again, especially if you have the numbers. Like me and my team, we do, heavily FSBO conversions. So we have a really good um, script for that. We have really good presentation for that. We have good marketing material for that. So we're pretty good at converting those for sale by owners.
So
Yeah,
talk
I'm
us.
glad to hear you say that because in the regular news, it's real clear that they're just designed to upset you. But the reality is, they actually need our services at a higher level. The
Right.
supply hasn't increased much at all, so these things are going to sell. You just might need to price them well, do a little bit of work in that process, which is nice. Then we get paid.
Well, I mean, if you look at it realistically, and I'm not putting down anybody or what they work or their activity, but in the last few years, anybody could sell real estate because you were pretty much an order taker. I need this home, go get me this home. You go right offer, you're done. Boom, boom,
Right,
boom. It's
right, right.
quick. You didn't really have to handle as many objections. You didn't have to convert as hard. Now it's getting harder, so you have to be a whole lot more skilled.
Hmm.
You have to understand your objections because the objections have changed now. A lot of our objections are based on, obviously, as we all know, mortgage rates, right?
Hmm.
Where am I going to go? So you have to kind of pivot and shift what you're saying to for sale by owners as well as expireds as well as buyers in general, buyer prospects. So you can't say the same thing you were saying 6 months ago and get the
Well,
same
that's what
result.
I wrote down. You have very strict scripting.
Yeah.
Very strict scripting, and to create a predictable, duplicatable, and measurable result that you can count on, and which is very impressive. And if anybody gets that point, that's a huge point because you can't wing it in this business and run it like a business.
Well, and the main thing is, especially since, like, if I could go back in time, like it would have never had my name on it, right? But since it does have my name on it, there's a certain image I want to carry. There's a certain amount of accountability. I don't want renegades running around saying whatever they want to say, do whatever they want, because it comes back on me.
True.
And our company has all 5-star reviews, and I like to keep it that way.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So, I try to really make sure they're saying the right things by educating them. We have a private Facebook page that I put videos in for them, scripts in for them, to just learn
So
from.
internal training for your people on the team. Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really important because being that I am the CEO, also in production still, and interviewing agents, we're trying to get up to 30 agents. My day stays very, very busy. So if there's places they can go to get stuff before they need to come get me, it makes it a lot easier. So we do a lot of stuff on videos so they can literally watch how to use the system, how to use this tool, how to use Vulcan7, how to do a neighborhood search, how to set up your dialer, how to put your script in Vulcan7. So things like that.
Got it.
That
Perfect.
makes a lot of sense. So before you were a team of 5 and you were a solo agent, what did that look like for you as far as kind of getting up and running? Like, how did you get your business started? When you're a new guy.
So I've only been in real estate 5 years, and I've sold about 400 plus homes. I'm part of EXP, so I've hit icon status every year. My first year in real estate, I did about 50 homes. My second year, I did 70. My third year, I started building the team and so forth. So for me, I never got in real estate wanting to be a realtor. I got in real estate wanting to be a business owner with a goal in mind. And my goal in mind was to get out of real estate, right? And just coach, mentor, and grow the company. But I knew to do that, I needed to get quick, immediate business. Because I want a realtor, so I didn't know how to do it. So the first thing I did is I went and found the lowest hanging fruit I could find at the least amount of expense, because I needed to be as profitable as possible. So I started off with FSBOs from day one. And what I did is I got on YouTube before I knew of Vulcan7, and I just watched YouTube people talk about converting for sale by owners. And I literally just copied their script, and I just started saying it. And then as I've got more mature in the business, I've had coaches who helped me with FSBOs that were like for sale by owner coaches to help me get better at it. And it just kind of went from there. And then I started teaching people how to do that. And that's why people started coming to my company, because they're like, well, I want to be a listing agent. How'd you do it? But my days always kind of started the same. I get up very early in the morning. I work out. I get to my office early. Usually by 10, 11, 12 o'clock, I've already had a full day. And then, still as the owner, I work to 6, 7 o'clock every night. Not really because I have to at this point, because I have a lot of delegation and a lot of employees, but because I just enjoy sales. I enjoy the money.
There's a passion when you own your own business, isn't there?
There's a passion to it and a fear.
There's that too.
You got a lot of employees you're taking care of, who depend on you. Their kids depend on you, their families, their spouses. So there's a lot to it, to keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you've got your goal this year is 150. You're looking to grow your organization to be about 30 salespeople strong. What does that trajectory look like for you? What is sort of the arc and your timing and all that kind of stuff?
It started really strong. We got up to about 15. A lot of them were younger agents. Decided they didn't really want to be in real estate. It was a lot harder than they thought. It wasn't $1 million listing. It wasn't selling sunset. It was a lot of grit, and they just said, hey, real estate's not for me. Which is totally fine. It's not for everybody. It takes a special breed to do what we do, especially at a high level. But what happened was I took my foot off the recruiting pedal, where I should have never took it off. I need to be interviewing and hiring 2 to 3 agents a month, every month. Minimum, which means I need to be going on probably an interview a day, because a lot of these agents, especially ones I'm looking for, you got to be able to provide them things they can't do on their own. So a lot of that's going to be dating them, getting to know them, seeing if you really can help their business grow. Because when I got in real estate, I was successful from day one. I didn't struggle like a lot of people did. I just hit the ground running and never slowed down, and still haven't slowed down, but I was just so disciplined. I would start my morning at 8 o'clock making calls, and I would call until I got a listing appointment, period. So some days I'd go in at 8 a.m. and I'd be on the phone at 8 p.m. And then if I still didn't have it by 8 p.m., I was like, I just got to go to bed and I'll come do it tomorrow. But not a lot of people have that kind of discipline and drive. But, my drive's internal, just like everybody else's drive. And I'm just a little bit different for what I'm trying to achieve in my life.
Oh, that's exciting. So talk to us a little bit about some tactical things, like when you're, because for sale by owner sounds like that's sort of your tip of the spear.
Mm-hmm.
So if I am someone that is in your crosshairs, I'm a for sale by owner, what is my experience like with your team? What are you saying to me? How often am I hearing from you? What does that follow-up plan look like?
So that's a great thing. I don't do a lot of the calling anymore like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I have a team that does that calling. They set the appointments and I kind of go close it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was starting off, I think it's more knowledgeable. So I would every day, I made it simple. I wanted to talk to 10 for sale by owners a day.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how many dials I needed to make, my goal was to talk to 10. And I used a dialer. I used a Vulcan7 dialer, and I would just call them. And my goal was to have 10 conversations. When I first got into it, it was just having conversations because I didn't know as much as I know now. Now it's a lot more direct conversations.
Mm-hmm.
My typical FSBO call takes about 10 minutes. And it's just pushing for face-to-face. And a lot of the stuff they ask, I just push to, well, that's a great question, and that's why we should meet. How does 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock work today?
Mm-hmm.
So I avoid the commission. I avoid things like that till I get face-to-face, because I learned if I could get in front of them, there was a high probability I'd get them to sign.
Right. And there you go, folks. A lot of times that's bait to get you to answer the question over the phone. And you have to pretend that what they said is, can you come over? Mm-hmm. You said, great. How about tomorrow at 4? Or would 6 be better? But instead of getting caught into answering the question, like, what do you charge and this and that and all these other things, how would you sell it? And we have to pretend that's an invitation to meet.
Yep.
And not answer the question. We can't get caught into doing that presentation over the phone,
because then they don't need you.
Right. Then they're like, what's the point in meeting? You already told me everything I wanted to know.
And then what my agents would do is, so basically they would set the appointment and then they would call back and pre-qualify it the day of or later that afternoon. And the pre-qual was, okay, is all the decision makers going to be there? If you like what my boss has to say, are you going to be ready to sign paperwork? So are you interviewing any other agents? Typically, if they were interviewing other agents, our main thing was, okay, I want to be the first one in the door or the last one in the door. I don't want to be in the middle.
That rocking chair is tough because they kind of forget about you. They remember the first, or if you're the last, they've already met with the rest. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. If you're the first, you can just cancel out all the rest. And if you're last, they've already met. It's time to make a decision. So.
Might as well be you because you're there, right?
Exactly.
So, I would do that. And it was pretty successful. So when I call FSBOs, I try to go for 5 closes. And what I used to do is I would get quarters. I'd have 5 quarters. And I would try to close them 5 different times. And one of 2 things would happen. They would either finally give me the appointment,
or you'd walk away with $1.25.
Yeah. Or typically they would just hang up on me.
Oh.
And a lot of my agents would be like, well, if they hang up on you, you're going to call back? I said, yep, I'll call right back tomorrow and do it all over again. Because what people don't realize is typically these people are getting 100 calls a day. They're not going to remember you tomorrow.
But, when you look at it, they're interviewing you and you're demonstrating how strong you are. Mm-hmm. And so you want to demonstrate that,
And they would ask me, hey, and if they did catch me by chance and say, didn't I talk to you yesterday? I say, yes, you did. And you're going to talk to me every day.
Don't you want somebody that strong to list your house?
And I would tell them that. I said, you're going to talk to me every day until you sign me. Until we sign, you're going to talk to me every single day. So
I'm going to do that to get your house sold.
And then once we got in their house, we'd sign the paperwork.
Yeah.
And then I have a transaction team, and the transaction team would reach out, thank them for the opportunity. We'd also send them a handwritten thank you card with a $10 Starbucks gift card saying, hey, for your first showing, go get a cup of coffee and relax. We're going to take it over from here.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Nice.
We try to make everything humanized. So we do a lot of video. Videos are really important. Anytime I talk to a FSBO on the phone, I send them a video as soon as I get off the phone.
Okay, good.
And it's nothing fast. It's nothing major. It's 10 seconds. Hey, Ren, thank you so much for your time today on the phone. I'd love to be a resource for you when you're ready to sell this house. Give me a call back. It's Phil with DeMuth Realty Group. And what it does, it humanizes that call so you don't sound like a robot. You're not like everybody else. In this industry, you have to stand apart. And it's very hard to stand apart on the phone. You can do it face to face.
Sure.
But you can't do it on the phone because you're just like the other 75 people that just called. So how do you stand apart? So we would send, a video. And then we'd send, even sometimes if we had a good conversation but didn't go anywhere, we'd still send a handwritten note card. Hey, thank you so much for that call yesterday. Let's talk. Right. And with FSBOs, it's going to go one of two ways. You're either going to get them right now. Boom.
So you're taking it up from just being noise over the phone to they see you. They get a handwritten note, which is a really nice touch. Mm-hmm. I mean, so you're adding some humanness to this whole thing.
And then, usually what with me personally, I would learn if I didn't set that that call with you the first time, if I didn't set that face-to-face appointment, everything came in the nurture, touching, follow-ups. And that's where most realtors really mess up. They're good at making the first call, but they don't consider it low-hanging fruit if they have to follow up more than once.
What does your follow-up plan look like, Phil?
So 11 to 12, I have in my CRM system, everybody I need to follow up with. I don't put them in my system. I delegate it out because time is money. So basically every good call I had, I print it out on Vulcan7. I just Command P print, and I give it to my assistant, say, put them in for me to follow up tomorrow. And then I'm not in Vulcan7. I'm in Vulcan7 again from 8 to 10, but then I'm on my CRM. Touching base. And my follow-up is, like I said, I follow up daily, every single day. Even if they told me to call in a week, a month, I call them every single day. And I just say, hey man, things change so quick in this market. I hope I didn't catch you off guard. Have you thought more about what I had to say? And then I go right back trying to close them again. Every day it's a close. I'm either going to wear them down or they're going to hang up on me.
So if I'm in your system, when am I off your call list?
You're not off my call list till you sign with somebody.
Okay.
Either me or somebody else.
Wonderful. What do you do with people that you've done business with at this point and they're still on your call list? What do you do with your database?
So we have everybody in closed, meaning they're closed lead. We've sold them something. Mm-hmm. We have everybody in active lead, meaning they're looking to buy in the next 30 to 90 days. Mm-hmm. Then we have prospects, people looking to buy 90 days out. Mm-hmm. And then we have sphere of influence. So my job is simple now, especially as busy as I'm now running the business. I still have broken down simple. I have 5 FSBO calls every day, 5 expired calls every day, 5 circle prospect every day, 5 sphere every day, 5 agents I'm trying to hire every day. And I do that every day.
Folks, listen to that. Because a lot of people, what happens, they're like, well, I'm the CEO. I don't have to talk to anybody anymore. They aren't recruiting. They should. They aren't talking to for sale owners and expireds and this and that. They've lost the pulse, so they can't teach that to their people and notice the changes. I mean, what you're doing.
It just truly, you learn. It's a number. Like I said in the beginning of the call, it's a contact sport.
Yeah. But so many people are like, well, I don't prospect anymore. I don't do anything. I'm just busy running the company, and they aren't really effective. You're hands-on in this.
How can I teach you?
That is how I mean, do it. It will grow. It will continue to grow because you're so hands-on.
Well, you can't teach it if you get
exactly. And it just like you said earlier, it's changed in the last 4 months. And you need to be able to teach what you're observing of those changes and what people are responding and no longer responding to, and how you have to modify the scripts.
Still as the owner of the company, I don't really work with buyers anymore, but we were having an issue with converting buyers. So I jumped back on buyer leads. So when I was coaching them, I knew how to coach them. Right. Because I could find out what was going on, what had changed.
Right. So, I mean, I don't care how far up the rank you go. Maybe you only work, some luxury business and stuff like that. You still have your toe in that water.
You have to. You have to lead by example.
Yes, it's perfect.
Easy. It's easy to tell somebody what to do. It's another thing to show somebody what to do.
And to be totally detached and telling them what to do, that doesn't work either. So.
Yeah. And I'm not telling you 5 years from now, that may be the case.
Right, and that may be, but you'll have an operations person that's got their toe in the water.
Just doing the same thing I'm doing.
Right, basically what you're doing.
Yeah. There'll always be somebody in my business teaching by leading by
right,
example.
exactly.
Because you have to in this industry,
You
because
have
real estate's the hardest thing you're ever going to do. And if you don't know what to do as a new realtor, you don't even get a fair chance. You know, and that's why we lose so many realtors so quickly. Now, some realtors aren't going to have the grit, and they're just not going to make it. And that's a reality, just like in sports. Not everybody's going to cut it.
Right. Well, and some just, it's not their DNA to be a hunter. You know,
Yeah.
it just isn't, you know,
and that's
they're
okay.
better as a gatherer or something, you know.
And look, I'm not going to lie. I need those people in my business too.
Right. You need somebody to catch the fish and somebody else to fillet and fry them.
There's room for both in my business,
Yes.
but I have to be with them enough to learn what they are. Well, and as a team leader, you know, that's my responsibility to make sure I'm teaching my agents to be the best they can. Like my agents, like I said, as soon as they get off the phone with somebody, they send a 10-second video, period.
Yeah.
And they say,
They just do that by text?
Just by text. And they say, I just want you to be able to put a name with a face.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do that with somebody, the likeliness of them following through is going to be 75% higher. It's been proven.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing we do is we do handwritten note cards with a $10 Starbucks gift card. I pay for them. I get $500 worth of gift cards a month for my agents. I stick them in a drawer, and they write it and they sign it. I give them a nice little pen, you know, something nice to write with. It's just, it's an image. It makes them feel a certain way. Every Friday, every one of my agents with their hot leads sends a market update video. It's 20 seconds long. This is how many homes hit the market. This is what's pending. This is what has closed. We do a lot of different things, man. Another thing we do is we follow a website, and I look at it every morning when I wake up. It's Mortgage News Daily, and they have really cool charts. And those charts, I'll send a picture that I like, and I'll put it in our Facebook group page. And I say, hey guys, because they check the Facebook group page every morning. I say, hey guys, send this chart to your clients in a text message, especially your nurturers who are like, oh, the mortgage. And then I say, send a video right after explaining what that chart means.
Wow, I like that. So they're sending the chart, then that agent, you know, Bob, is sending and saying, you know, this is what this means here in Raleigh, Durham, blah 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 blah. This means this, and they're like, wow, this person's an expert.
The amount of credibility that gives my agents.
Mortgage News Daily. Sarah and I are both writing that.
Yeah,
down.
the amount of credibility that gives my agents, and no agents are doing that consistently. They may start to do it, but to do it weekly will change your business for life.
Wow.
You know, it's just, my team has a very, very high conversion rate because of these things.
Wow. Wow.
Very good.
So I'm just,
like
as you know, as the world changes and technology changes, you know, I was really against it for a long time, but I've adapted to it because it works. Still trying to figure out social media.
Yeah.
You know, that's a tough one. Because especially with these young kids, they all want to be like the next YouTube sensation or social media star, and I'm like, man, that's like 1% of people that do that. The rest of us work really hard. Yeah, the rest of us just work. We work a lot of hours.
I wish it was 1%. I'd go for it.
I'm telling you, man, you're pretty close, friend. You're pretty close with your stuff you got going on.
But that isn't being a YouTube star.
So you gotta help me out here. I gotta live with them here in Cincinnati. Don't be helping me out here. Come on.
No, it's but no, dude, I do appreciate you guys. Like I said, I've been using y'all services for about 3-4 years now, and you know, I was looking at my conversions I've closed. You guys have helped me make well over $1 million+ it looks like.
Well, good stuff.
I like that.
Yeah. But you know, truly, as you guys know, and y'all say it all the time in these things, man, it's just consistency. Like they really, if I don't understand why agents can't do something consistently.
I mean, when you think about it, Phil, and I always wondered that too, and then I figured it out one time. I would have people on the team based making commissions, and they were inconsistent. When I brought them in on salary and said, you're going to spend 4 hours making calls and then 2 hours doing follow-up, they would do it because they were on salary because they could be fired. But if I did it on commission, they would just be like that. It's funny. People have a hard time being their own boss.
Yeah. And I think until
people want to be led, they want to be told what to do. They want to, if they're on a salary, they'll work 10 times harder, which is bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they think it's really possible, so it's like until they see it or someone close to them does it, they don't believe it. You know what I mean?
Well, there's too much of a delay for the gratification. For example, if I always would say this to people as coaching clients, I would say, here's the deal. If I came to your office and sat in the corner for every intense hour of prospecting, I gave you 3 $100 bills, how many hours would you go? Well, I'd go all day. Like, no, realistically. Well, I'd go about 5 hours. Okay, $1,500. And what if I did it all week long? Would you do it? Yeah. So that's $7,500 for the week. Would you do it all month? Yes, I would. All right. So here's the deal. You do that, I get all your commission checks. I'll actually make money on you.
Yeah.
It's just that the reward is months down the road. It's
90 days.
If you were a rat and hit a lever and a pellet comes rolling out, but if the pellet comes rolling out 4 months later, that's kind of how this is. They're making these calls and they don't see that pellet for months.
Yeah. It's a typical 90-day. And if you're a new agent, what I've learned when I started hiring new agents, for a new agent, it's 6 months. And for a senior agent, it's 60 to 90 days. So like you just said, a lot of people can't wait that long for some reason.
That's why I loved expireds. I would call them on a Monday, meet with them on a Tuesday, sell it on a Friday.
With expireds, you just got to be the first one.
I know. You just have to be like call it 10 till 8, before anybody else is calling.
Oh, dude, I'd wake them up out of bed some mornings. I'm like, I'm just so excited.
It's easier for them to be slightly annoyed that it's a little too early than damn mad that you're the 9th caller.
I used to tell them all the time when that happened, I say, well, if you don't want this to happen, go ahead and sign with me and no one will call you again.
Yeah.
That's it.
I used to tell them all day, man.
Fix for that.
Yeah, I have a real fix for that. I'll see you in 45 minutes.
That's right. That's right, man. But we're getting there. We're getting better with agents, and thank you. So it's getting there. We're getting a lot of better agents now in the Raleigh area, but as this market shifts, I do see people leaving the industry, which is unfortunate, but also a good thing for someone like me and my team because we'll take that market share.
Yeah, I said that is good news all the way.
That is good. No, you need people that are, we get a little unpolished when it's order takers. And then when we clean it out.
Your only skill is speed.
But there is no supply in the United States. So we're not going to see the normal pendulum swing and change in the market because there's nowhere to live. There's nowhere to buy, nowhere to rent. Cincinnati's one of the worst. We have nothing. We have nothing here. Sure. Less people are moving because they're just staying put, but not that much less. But and every listing's going to sell unless it's a greed sale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just they're sitting longer, so it's giving buyers a longer time to make a decision.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the good news is the news is making it sound so awful that they think they need our help, and that's great.
Yeah, and I tell my agents, I say, your clients can watch the news, but you can't.
Right there, you go. There you go, because it's not real anyway. If there was a lot of inventory, we would have a problem, but there isn't.
Yeah, it'd be a huge problem at this point, but we're not. I mean, you're going to sell what you get in front of if you can provide value.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, you've talked about the control of the scripts. You've talked about running it like a business versus being a realtor. How else are you tracking numbers, measuring things like that?
So I track every conversation had, every dial had, every appointment met on the buy side, every appointment set on the buy side, every listing set, every appointment set that way, even every lead source. Did it come from FSBO? Did it come from, because you got to know where your book of business is coming from, because that's where you want to put a majority of your money back. So if you're a heavy FSBO person, you say, okay, FSBOs is how I've made so much money this year. I need to put 75% of my budget back in those FSBOs. 25% can be delegated elsewhere to the other 2 tiers of business. Like I teach all my agents, you need 3 sources of business that you need to be good at all times. So same as a business owner, what is my main 3 sources? For us, I bring a lot of agents in and I teach them how to catch a fish. I teach them how to be seller, how to work with sellers, how to work with FSBOs, how to work with expireds. Not everybody wants to do it. I'll have people come in, do it for 3 months and say, Phil, I don't want to make calls every day. I don't want to have to sell my self-worth every day and why list with me. And I said, that's great. It's not for everybody. I enjoyed it. To me, it was a hunt. It was a hunting game. It was how many no's do I need to get a yes? But not everybody's cut that way. So those people I would naturally lead them to the buy side and say, okay, you can work with our internet leads. That's a very simple phone call. Yep. They came into our system. They want to talk. Go talk to them. And then I'd keep the people who wanted to focus on FSBOs and expireds focused on that side.
Right. And maybe some, you start them in the shallow end of the pool and pretty soon they're off on the high dive at some point in time. Mm-hmm. It just depends. Do you allow, if somebody wants to come and shadow for half a day and they're not in Raleigh, Durham or Cary or anywhere around you, would that, you ever have people do that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, we do Zoom with a lot of people from other places so they can watch as well.
Okay. So because you'll get people to reach out and if they live in Virginia or Atlanta or somewhere and they come and spend 2 or 3 hours and
mm-hmm. Well, plus what it does for me, even as the owner of the
show company, off factor, yeah.
Yeah, but even as the owner of a company, I like having script partners myself at my level. Okay, so like me scripting with one of my entry level agents doesn't sharpen my blade, right? It doesn't make me better. It helps them tremendously, and that's good. But what I try to do is find people from different places around the country, and I place them with my agents because they're at the same level and they teach each other.
Perfect.
And then like with me, I find people at my level, kind of in the same stature I am, trying to grow a business. What is it? Birds of the same feather flock together, right? So I try to learn from those people. We motivate each other. So it kind of helps doing that because I have script partners all over the country I work with about 4 days a week.
Nice. And in the world we're in with Zoom, it's so much easier to do.
Yeah, and it makes it nice. And we like to do Zoom. So I script with someone in New York, someone in Kentucky, someone in South Carolina, and then I script with someone in Charlotte, North Carolina. So. Gotcha.
Well, that, speaking North Carolinian to New York, those are 2 different languages, aren't they?
Two different speeds too.
I was going to say,
yeah, the rate of speed. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
I do. I'm a firm believer in urgency. Without I think a lot of people don't have urgency anymore. And time kills all deals. Like if someone tells you to call them in a month, call them in a day. Someone's going to convert them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's either going to be you or someone else.
Right.
That is a condition, not an objection. They're trying to just give me a call because you didn't provide enough value to keep them involved.
They say something just to slow you down, and then you say something else, and then you get a little further along. People say stuff just to slow you down, not for any good reason.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. I mean, I tell people that all the time. Like most of these things you're hearing are not objections, they're conditions.
Yeah.
And you're falling for their trick.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
right.
But it really depends on.
Can't take it literally, they say, we're just looking like,
and you can't take
always
it personal.
said just before the buy.
And I feel like a lot of agents with FSBOs and expires take it so personal, like, oh, he hung up on me.
Right.
and hanging up on you sometimes is the nicest thing they'll do. I mean, they can sometimes say all kinds of things to you.
Well, see, that's the good news, because if this was easy, everybody would do it. If everybody did it, it wouldn't pay much. But because the mental game of it, you can make $1 million a year.
I've made over $100,000 in a month.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
There you go. Multiply that times 12, folks.
When you make $100,000 in a month, your mindset changes.
It does. It gets you thinking. The wheels start turning, and then you're working at, starting at 6, 7 in the morning. You're working at 6, 7 at night, but you got a big smile on your face.
Yeah, you just check your bank account and you smile a little bit.
That's it.
But, with me now, my goal is to get my agents making 6, 7 figures, right?
Yeah.
Because if I get them doing that, now I'm being taken
Right.
care of financially, and I'm helping other people achieve their dreams and goals.
And that really feels good. And
That's a
it's
big
a
fulfillment.
win-win. They're
It's a big
making
fulfillment.
you a bunch of money, and they're making themselves a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big win-win.
Yeah, I mean, because what other industry can you go into and make that kind of money without going to school for 8 or 10 years or whatever?
And
You
even
know,
then, I don't care if you're the best
look at the
surgeon in the
debt.
world. I think the realtor might beat you.
Well, I mean, look at the amount of debt they accrued to get to
Yes.
making that kind of money. So now,
Yeah.
yeah, you may be making 200,000 a year, but you owe $500,000 in debt.
That's it.
Well,
You
I
know,
think the
I
other
mean,
part of it, Phil, is what you've done is that, a surgeon only has two hands. And the way that you've been able to structure your organization, you have an infinite number of pairs of hands.
yeah,
And that enables you to create something that is not just you as a self-employed individual.
right.
And it gives you something that's a standalone entity that's got real value.
I was brand new to real estate. I went to like a KW event, and there was a guy there.
Mhm.
He was a commercial realtor, and he said, I was an independent agent making a fortune, got cancer, couldn't work for 8 months, lost it all. So as soon as I heard that, it resonated with me. It said, I don't want to be that kind of person. I want to make money whether I'm awake or asleep, whether I'm on vacation or not vacation. I want money coming in my door no matter what. Now, running a company, a lot of money goes out the door too, which a lot of people don't understand. It's a lot to run a company. But if you get enough hands and you're teaching them and providing them value, you can have a lot of money coming in the door no matter what. And then that's going to give you freedom or flexibility to help others. Whatever you want it to be, whether you want to work to your 50, 60, or you want to stop at 40. It's your journey in life. What you want to do is up to you. I'm a workaholic, so I don't know if I'd ever retire, but I do like right now, I'm taking tomorrow off. Now I'll have my phone on me so I can talk to my agents. A few years ago, I couldn't do that. I don't work weekends. A few years ago, I couldn't do that. So who knows in a few years where I'll probably be, right? But, to give people that kind of freedom too, where they can build teams within teams and things like that, is pretty amazing as well.
Yeah. A lot of interesting combinations in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
And everything's very team driven now.
Yeah.
This is powerful stuff. I think if anybody was watching this, they're probably going to want to watch it one or two more times, because there's a lot of good thoughts on here that's going to help somebody who wants to take a few listings, build some if you're on the listing side of the business, that's the answer, isn't it?
100%.
100%. If you work with buyers control you. If you work with listings, you control the market.
Right. You can go on vacation, come back, and have sold 4 houses.
Yeah. Not
as easy with buyers.
I quit working with buyers years ago. I'll do 1 or 2 every few months just so I can keep
just a little threshold of pain there.
Yeah, just so I can remember what it felt like, so I can coach my agents. But but I would never ever work with buyers again at that level. I mean, I remember my first 2 years, man, I put like 100,000 miles on my car.
Yeah. Here's the neat thing about that, Phil, is that when you think about the dynamics of a team and you think about individuals that absolutely get joy from working with buyers, and you're able to put someone in their joy zone by taking yourself out of your pain zone, that's where it all comes together.
Yeah, and you got a good point there, Sarah, because there are people that just love that, and in a team type of an environment, they can have that around the clock without because the parts they don't like are a lot of the things that the team can take away from them, and they can just go show, and it's just Christmas every day.
There's power in delegation.
Yeah.
When I got in real estate, the first thing I did was hire an assistant, because I knew I didn't like paperwork.
Yeah, and in fact, you've got 2 of them right there. On the couch, sitting on the couch right there. There we go. You've got your 2 assistants there.
Yeah, I need to let them go, man. This is what they do all day. Yeah,
great.
Tough.
I thought it'd be good to end with a little shot of your assistant there.
What's the saying? It's hard to find good help. There you go. There they are.
Well, good. It looks like it's a lot of fun to work on your team. So
Yeah. We are dog friendly. You can bring dogs to our office. I'm at my
That's-
home office today, but you can
that
bring
is
dogs
nice.
to our office.
Now, Raleigh, Durham, Cary, all around there is a wonderful place to live. And there are people that are going to like, hey, I want to refer something to them. What's the best way for them to reach you to send you a piece of business?
You can email me at philip@DeMuthRealtyGroup.com, which is my company, philip@DeMuthRealtyGroup.com. It's 2 L's. Or you can call my office line, 919-521-8927. And one of my agents or assistants to pick up, and we can help you guys.
Good deal. So let's send some business their way. We really appreciate this. This is very, very helpful. There are a lot of people that are aspiring to get where you are, and sometimes we just need to get in your mind and do a little Spock mind meld. And,
Yeah. Trust me, I still have a lot to learn, and I talk to people every day to get better myself. But the best way to get where you want is find someone who's doing it and just replicate it.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Don't reinvent the wheel. Use the copycat principle.
Yep.
100%. Phil, such a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate everything you do. You've been very successful to my business, so I appreciate you guys for that.
Thank you, and we appreciate you. See everybody next week.
All right, take care. Go list something.